But yeah, today we're gonna be watching a video by Dream Jelly. I'm gonna go and sub because her content is actually pretty cool for like nostalgic shit. But we're gonna do a deep dive into Hot Topic. So if you grew up in the 2000s and 2010s, you know all about Hot Topic. I know I fucking do, especially since I used to be a metalhead in high school. I never went full emo, but I did listen to a lot of metal. I dressed in black. I bought shirts from Hot Topic. I went to Warp Tour. So, yeah, I was part of that little culture in high school. Heard goth where the baddies at. I know, man. There's actually a lot of goth VTubers. You just gotta look for them. But yeah, let's take a deep dive into Hot Topic.
When you think of Hot Topic, what's the first thing that comes to mind? A goth fashion store? An endless wall of Funko Pops? Or just that dark and scary?
If you think about Funko Pops when you think about Hot Topic, you are young. Back when I used to go, Funko Pops didn't exist. Or maybe I'm just old. Either way.
Place in the mall that sells alternative stuff. While nowadays, Hot Topic could be much more accurately described as being a pop culture store that also happens to sell band tees, all the other descriptions are still accurate, or at least they were at one point in time. Because Hot Topic has existed for so many years, closing in on 40 to be exact, like any business, it looks pretty different now compared to when it started. A lot of people tend to feel that Hot Topic has
Yeah,
gone
that's basically how I
downhill since
remember
its
it right
stock
there.
became more pop culture heavy, and it's a far cry from what it existed as in the 90s and 2000s as a pure punk haven that cared more about the music. I've looked into Hot Topic's wide variety of changes across over 3 decades to find out if Hot Topic really did used to be better, and I've cataloged its history into 3 different eras, not phases, because it's not just a phase, Mom. And all of these eras and changes to the brand over the years have made Hot Topic what it is today, for better or for worse.
Alright, you see that top middle logo right there, the 2000 to 2010? That is the one I remember. I don't even remember the first logo. Damn. But yeah, I remember when they changed the logo, and it's like, it's been kind of downhill since then, honestly. In all honesty.
The first Hot Topic store opened in 1989 in Montclair, California, kicking off its first era. Despite what it would eventually become, it started off as little more than an accessories store. There were tons of belts, earrings,
yeah, it looks like any other like fashion store in the mall, honestly.
Scrunchies, headbands, and scarves, making it kind of like a grown-up and slightly edgier Claire's. It was brightly lit, had a neon green
like
logo,
Claire's.
And there were no band tees or goth clothes, or actually any clothes at all. But it didn't take very long for the merchandise to start leaning pretty heavily in the alternative direction, with studs and spikes, skulls and bats, hair dye and glitter, and plenty of varieties of chunky platform shoes. The band merch finally came into the picture in the early 90s, introducing the infamous band tee wall that's sort of become Hot Topic's main shtick.
Look at that band tee wall right there. Oh my god. Oh my god. The Green Day, the Circle Jerks, Misfits, Rancid, Marilyn Manson, Black Flag, Rage, Nirvana, no Sublime yet? That must have came later. I do remember Sublime tees though. Metallica, definitely, Sepultura, Soundgarden, Stone Temple Pilots, Slayer, Rolling Stone shirt, Bob Marley over here. Is that, yeah, Jim Morrison, The Doors. I would rock a lot of these t-shirts, honestly, to this day.
Some of the first shirts it carried featured classic bands like TSOL, Depeche Mode, Metallica, Bauhaus, Susie and the Banshees, and The Cure. And there was no specific focus as far as music genre went. Metal, punk, rock, and goth were all included through t-shirts and CDs.
Yeah.
And similarly, while popular goth clothing brands like Lip Service and Morbid Threads eventually made their way in too, the fashion wasn't limited to just goth either. body jewelry, trip and UFO pants, and alternative pop culture merch were stocked too, turning Hot Topic into a store that targeted alternative and counterculture as a whole, rather than only the darkest parts of certain subcultures. Speaking of pop culture, Hot Topic has actually stocked merch of some pretty mainstream media since almost the very beginning, with Homie the Clown from In Living Color appearing on some of its first pop culture t-shirts.
Damn, really? Hey, I don't know how to pronounce your name, I'm sorry. HR Rajal, thanks for the follow, man. Welcome in, welcome in. My dumbass thought they were CDs at first, not shirts. Yeah, those were the shirt designs. I mean, they did have CDs too, but by the time I was going to Hot Topic, it was a lot of like goth, emo, and scene stuff. If you don't remember Scene Girls, that was a hell of a time to live in, man. Those don't really exist anymore. It's like a rare species.
And Nightmare Before Christmas running a huge line around 1993 when the movie first released, and then it pretty much never left Hot Topic shelves ever again. By 1999, Hot Topic carried merch of Care Bears, Strawberry Shortcake, Invader Zim, Hello Kitty, SpongeBob, and even Clifford the Big Red Dog, even after changing logos to a chiller-adjacent font and adding giant gothic gates to their storefront too.
Yeah, they always had like a little corner of more like cartoony stuff. I mean, 3/4 of the store was like goth and emo adjacent. I mean, they always had like the little cutesy stuff in a corner. I do remember that.
To better fit their main aesthetic. While Hot Topic didn't exactly start as an alternative store, it pretty quickly changed courses to fill in the market of the counterculture movement that was growing at the time. The 90s saw the introduction of grunge, indie, and riot girls, and a further development of punk and goth that carried over from the 80s.
Yeah.
Hot Topic wasn't the first or only store to cater to the alternative scene, but it was gradually becoming a staple
Spencer's
amongst it.
did too.
A place not just to buy hair dye and body jewelry, but to hang out in amongst its also dyed and pierced employees, and its front gates, gargoyles, heavy music, and even the occasional fog machine for just the right kind of spooky ambience. Along with marketing to their alternative demographic, its sheer existence as a more accessible alternative space and store directly influenced the culture of some of its consumers. Mall goths, a subculture of goth, was initially a term used to describe the goth groups that would spend a lot of time at the mall, especially those who tended to shop at or hang around Hot Topic for the fashion. It was initially a more derogatory term to label younger crowds and other posers who were into goth more as
the posers. Oh my god, you're such a fucking poser, dude. You're such a poser. You don't listen to the same music as me, bro. People have always been assholes. They're just different flavors.
a fashion statement rather than for the music and the culture, but it eventually evolved into a subgenre of goth all its own, and not without help from stores like Hot Topic. While SpongeBob shirts and Care Bear plushies didn't exactly fall into the most alternative of categories, selling pop culture merch also helped expose the store to a slightly broader audience than just its normal customers. There were even occasional free in-store morbid makeovers in the 90s, which along with the general widespread approach of a chain store, likely recruited some new fans to the subculture and helped push alternative culture as a whole just a little further beyond the store doors and its typical demographic. By the start of the 2000s, Hot Topic had really made a name for itself as the creepy alt store in the mall, which was a good thing, and it was only starting to gain more traction in the subculture as it progressed into its second era.
Oh, nah, we're just talking about goth girls, I think. Something like that.
2001 saw the launch of its sister brand Torrid, a plus-size women's clothing store that initially sold similar fashion to Hot Topic. Meanwhile, the main brand was receiving recognition and business deals within the music space into the 2000s, being referenced by artists like Bowling for Soup and Garbage, featured in Rock Band 2, sponsoring the 2006 Spike TV Scream Awards, and sponsoring stages at both Warped Tour and Ozzy Osbourne's Ozfest, two music festival tours that were really popular within the scene.
I miss Warped Tour so much, man. I only went to like 3 of them, but they were all fun as fuck. Besides like dying in fucking 95-degree heat, but other than that, it was pretty cool. There's a lot of fucking bands there, a lot of chicks. I went when I was like 16 too, so it was like prime era to go. Ah, it was better back then, man. Pre-COVID in general was fucking way better.
Sure, Hot Topic's main priority here was to make money as a business, but by having so many hands-on interactions within different areas of the industry, it was cementing itself as not just an alternative store, but as a core element to the scene itself. Like anything that begins to see success, critics of Hot Topic weren't far behind. No store can truly be called alternative if it hasn't gotten its own disgruntled boomer political cartoon printed in the newspaper, which very neatly describes the most common criticisms against Hot Topic. Dark, different, and parents just don't like it.
It's not, I mean, I guess boomer parents back then, like, I could see them grunt, into that devil shit. They listen to that devil music and shit, wearing all black. That was close. Yeah, I could see the boomers back then being like, my kids wearing all black, wearing them big baggy pants, listening to that demon stuff. I liked it though. I liked it, man. I can't help it.
This alleged complaint from the mother of a Hot Topic shopper is more modern, and I'm pretty sure it's satire. At least, I hope it is.
Store gladly promotes Satanism and the homosexuals. I asked to speak to a manager regarding their hoard merchandise, and this young lady with colorful clown hair and piercings all over her face said that she was the manager. Quickly told her never mind, grabbed my daughter and left the store because with the good Lord as my savior, I wasn't about to talk to a store full of gay satanic clowns. As a woman of faith, I will pray for the Hot Topic and their employees who desperately need the Lord's guiding light because it's poisoning the minds of our kids with their gay satanic merchandise. I'll be sure to bring this up during the neighborhood church service on Sunday. Shut the fuck up, Karen. Gay satanic clowns. I don't think it's satire, Daniel. I could see a Facebook boomer posting this in her Karen group. Wait till she finds out about VTubers. Oh, God.
But it also covers all of the standard complaints that most parents have about the store. Satanic, scary, there's some man screaming over the speakers, and why does the cashier have green hair? On the opposite end, some of the criticism came from within the scene itself, like the song Hot Topic is Not Punk Rock by MC Lars that criticized the commodification of counterculture and the consumerism it promoted, which goes against the values.
What about the South Park version, where the guys burned down the Hot Topic? Burn down, burn down, burn down, Hot Topic.
That make up punk rock and similar subcultures. There were also plenty of Hot Topic parodies, both drawn together,
there it
and
is.
South Park aired some pretty edgy references. Mad Magazine had a multi-page spread of parody products, and Mad TV even had this Tickle Me Emo bit, which really dates the episode, advertised to be sold only at Hot Topic. Speaking of emo, if the Elmo sketch wasn't enough of an indicator that there was a new trend taking over the alternative space, then the state of Hot Topic itself around this time was. Grunge, metal, indie, and goth, along with the more niche subgenres of each, had all been pretty standard subcultures for as long as Hot Topic existed. But as the 2000s progressed, emo and scene were coming into their own, and Hot Topic,
that's what the scene girls look like. You see the hair? You see the fluffed hair with the multicolor and the stripes? That was all. That was it. That was all the rage back then. Back in my day.
Guys joined right in to cater to the trend. Emo and scene, which are different by the way, though admittedly two sides of the same coin, were also pretty different.
So emo was like the dressed in all black, like listening to like My Chemical Romance and like sad music, sad metal music and stuff like that. Wearing eyeliner with the chucks on. They also wore Vans and the skeleton gloves, the emo overdue right there. And the scene version was similar but way more colorful, and they mostly listened to like electronic type metal, like Blood on the Dance Floor, Broken Side, stuff like that. And honestly, the scene movement has kind of evolved into, let's just say if hyperpop existed back then, the scene girls would listen to hyperpop. And I'm pretty sure girls that were seen when they were younger probably still listen to hyperpop and stuff like that. Seems like it would fit right in. But the style in general doesn't really exist too much more. Like, there are a lot of people that still dress like goth, and I mean, I guess you might find some emo kids out there, but it's not as popular as it once was. Now it seems like most people are like weebs, furries, stuff like that. In the alternate universe, I can see myself go goth. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty fun. Not gonna lie, like it is a style, and I mean, most goth people I've ever met in my life are pretty cool. So
from the existing subcultures and were especially popular among teenagers, which coincidentally were also among the main demographic that visited the mall, where almost all Hot Topic stores were located. It was really a perfect storm of checkered belts, bleached raccoon stripes, and new and emerging pop metal and crabcore bands that all
crabcore. Oh my god, I remember that. Oh fuck. Crabcore, just look up Attack Attack, any one of their music videos. That is crabcore. They get really low to the ground while they play guitar.
coalesced into the second era of Hot Topic, bringing the store just that much more success and
emo as a team, but not goth. I was just depressed. Hey man, it happens to the best of us. I didn't get depressed till I hit my 20s, but I wasn't really like, I wasn't an emo or a goth back then. I was more like metalhead, but I mean, I did have black hair and I wore all black. I just didn't listen to much emo music. I listened to more like prog metal, like older thrash metal, stuff like that. I just kind of looked emo. So if you didn't know, you would assume.
Recognition. And in case you're wondering, crabcore is just a meme
term
that makes fun of this crab stance that metalcore guitarists were doing at the time,
Yep,
and
that's
has
it.
nothing to do with actual musical crabs, unfortunately. Most counterculture revolves around fashion and expression through unique personal style, and emo and scene were no exception. New kinds of merchandise.
Wasn't depressed as a teen, skill issue. Hey, is it really though? I mean, I guess I could have got it out the way early instead of hitting it in my 20s and then it just dragging on. I mean, I went through phases as a teen. Like, I got my heart broken, but who the fuck didn't? I mean, I don't know about kids these days, but back then it was pretty common. Depression's good. I mean, not necessarily, but you can learn from it. So in a way, I guess. Love heartbreak makes the music hit harder. It really does though, man. If heartbreak didn't exist, we wouldn't have gotten like damn near 80% of music that we have. We would have never got 808s and heartbreaks. You're not a real alt person if you're not depressed, or you're not a real man if you don't drink and drive. Hell yeah, brother. Don't drink and drive. Unless. Nah, for real, don't do that. There's a level to depression, just don't go into the deeper end. Yeah, I mean, it's alright to feel emotions. Just don't, like, let it control your life. Which I know is easier said than done, but fuck. You just gotta kind of like, it's a lot about mindset, man. It's a lot about mindset. Because if you think you're depressed, you're gonna be depressed. Like, regardless. I think. I don't know. Yeah, welcome in, Speedy. I appreciate the dumb comments. I don't mind it.
That targeted the newer subcultures found their way onto Hot Topic shelves, including brighter colors, bolder patterns, plenty of style-specific accessories like bows and belts, and more Invader Zim products than any scene kid could ever dream of.
Bro, the Invader Zim back then went so fucking hard. Like, Every girl had an Invader Zim hoodie when I was in fucking middle and high school. It was insane. That and Nightmare Before Christmas went hard as fuck. They probably made so much money back then. It was a different time, man. It was a different time.
And it really can't be understated just how big emo and scene would become. While goth, punk, and other subcultures emerged in earlier decades, emo and scene were developing right as social media and online communities were also becoming a more established.
Yes. The emo and scene culture tied in so heavily with MySpace. Like, they're basically inseparable. Like, I remember when MySpace was first a thing, and you can go on people's profiles, and they'd have, like, the backgrounds and the music. Back when people were learning HTML code just to make their pages good. Now the internet's kind of like, eh. I do remember MySpace. I was kind of young, but I do remember it. Not really in the alt spirit, but I have friends who are. Gotta ask for the few times I walked into a Hot Topic Spencer's with the funniest, cringy shirts, bad quote merch you've seen. Fuck, dude, I'd have to really think about that. There's a lot of them. I haven't been to Spencer's or Hot Topic in a little bit, but I have seen some of the more recent ones, and they do still have cringe shit. My aunt goes, hey, you know I'm on the older side, man. I'm pretty sure I've said my age on stream before. Good luck finding it. But yeah. Back then, let me think. Fuck, dude. I can't remember now that I'm like put on the spot. I mean, there was a lot of them. Like, there were the dumb ones, like fucking, I don't know. I remember like the Kiss Me I'm Irish shirts. I remember like Call of Duty, but it was Duty, like DOODY. America back-to-back World War champions. Oh my god, dude. Might ask out the Spencer's cashier, hey man, shoot your shot. They're usually hot. Like 8 times out of 10, the cashier is probably hot. And it's probably a goth chick. Most of the time when I went to Spencer's and Hot Topic, I would just buy like band tees and I would buy gauges for my ears. That's basically it. That's about as far as I went with it. And Spencer's does still sell sex toys, by the way. So yeah.
Established norm. Sites like MySpace and YouTube were the perfect breeding ground for fledgling little
There it
emos.
is. That's what I was talking about. The customized backgrounds and shit. And the music. Usually it ain't a Britney Spears song. Usually it's some emo song. But it's basically it. It's a fucking weird time on the internet. Everything was so new. Saw a shirt that was the Mona Lisa dabbing in a tourist store in France. I can only imagine the dumbass shirts they have now, man.
That were just discovering counterculture and latching onto what was gaining traction at the time. Staple emo and pop punk bands like Fall Out Boy, Panic at the Disco, and My Chemical Romance, also known as the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit of emo, among
Alright, even I listen to those bands. Those are like, they're still famous to this day. But back when they were first popping off, dude, that shit was wild.
plenty of others that would take way too long to name
God,
were
Paramore,
also rising
yes.
in popularity, making these emerging subcultures some of the most appealing and accessible to get into.
Is that Ronnie Radke? Oh god.
Especially for teenagers, even if a lot of its participants were just going through a phase, and while it still
Yep, that's about what half my high school looked like right there. Right there. Perfect picture. The other half was like rednecks. Culture's kind of stuck in a loop now. Yeah, a lot of people cling to nostalgic times, which I get it. That's why I'm watching this video right now. Because I'm nostalgic for this era. And I found this video in my algorithm and I figured it'd be nice to react to. I haven't seen any VTubers react to this video in particular, so hopefully I'm the first. Who's Ronnie? Ronnie Radke is the lead singer of Fallen in Reverse, but he's fucking cringy as hell. That's the only way I could describe it. The Mona. Daniel, look, you looked it up. Yeah. Sounds like an actual shirt.
Wasn't the most socially accepted, the emo and scene movement of the mid-2000s was creating a new and explosive market of eager alternative kids that needed a place to buy all the best accessories or band tees to fit in.
Eyeliner,
preferably
dude.
a place that was already at the mall and that already had a reputation for its alternative merchandise.
Dude, kids don't even hang out at the mall anymore. Like, nowadays, it's like, why hang out at the mall when you could just chill on a Discord call and play video games? Like, you know? Oh, you say you do, Rebel? Maybe it's just me then. But I'm not a kid anymore, so I just haven't been. The mall's fucking expensive, and it's a lot of people, man. I don't like people. At least not that many. Wish you could have hung outside with friends growing up, missed out. Yeah, it's just a different era, man. Like, I was lucky enough that by the time I was like in middle school, high school, that was when the internet, like when social media was first popping off. Like, I think Instagram came out when I was in, fuck, that makes me sound so old. I think Instagram came out when I was in high school, so it was like a newer thing. So, like, I still had the time to go outside and chill with my friends and stuff. I mean, we still played video games, don't get me wrong. I played hella fucking Halo 2 and Modern Warfare 2, Halo 3. I played all of that on 360 with my friends. But it's just we also went out more in general. These days, like, disregarding the fact that it's so fucking expensive to go out and do anything, it's just a lot easier to hang out with your friends on Discord. Because, like, damn near everybody has a PC now. Well, most people. I didn't get one till, like, last year, so I was a little late to the party on that. But in general, people got phones and PCs, so, like, you just hang out with your friends in Discord call. And it's like the same shit almost. I can't even bully you for being old because Spotify thinks I'm 78 years old. That's because you listen to a lot of old music, man. That's what happens. I didn't even have a Spotify Wrap because I switched to Apple Music last year. And I haven't been listening to that much music in general. I've been on a VTuber kick lately. I've mainly been watching other VTubers. Which y'all probably are too, because y'all are here. So y'all understand.
Some of the most major changes in Hot Topic in the second era didn't just come from within the store though, or at least not just within what they sold in the store. Another major element to its rise in popularity came from Hot Topic not just being regarded as a staple for alt clothing and band merch, but also for more of its direct contributions to and involvement within the scene itself, instead of just playing punk music over the store.
Hey, Daniel! Appreciate the gifted sub to Rebel. Holy shit, bruh. You are a fucking legend. I cannot stress that enough. Listen to all my music on YouTube because a lot of songs I like are too niche. Yeah, that's true though. Honestly, YouTube music kind of has that advantage over Spotify and like Apple Music and stuff. Because if there's a song that's been uploaded to YouTube, that bitch is on YouTube Music. I mean, and it comes with YouTube Premium, so if you watch a lot of YouTube, it's kind of worth it if you go that route. Yeah, YouTube Music UI does suck ass, but I mean, it has a lot more songs in general. Yeah, let me hop back into the video though. I got distracted.
For speakers and offering some gothic makeovers like in the 90s, there was now a chance that you could hear your favorite band's music playing in Hot Topic in person. In-store sets, or essentially mini concerts held right.
As the original What the Fuck's Up, Denny's. They did it first at the Hot Topic.
On the sales floor in the mall became increasingly common in the 2000s, along with in-store band signings and meet and greets that often used album and merch sales as an entry ticket. By associating directly with the bands that might have lined the t-shirt wall or played over the store speakers, Hot Topic was creating an image that showed it wasn't just an alternative store, but it was becoming the alternative store. The signings weren't just limited to music artists, though. Pop culture has always had a decent presence in Hot Topic, and with more popularity and business success, larger pop culture related signings and events were being held in store too, like Harry Potter, the cast of Glee, and even Fred.
Why'd you remind me of Fred? No! There were also dark times back then. Now I'm remembering. But yeah, we watched a video about Hot Topic. I don't know what your history is with Hot Topic, but I used to go a lot when I was in high school, so yeah, let's hop back into the video.
In 2007, Hot Topic made their most recent—
Oh yeah, Fred. Yeah, like I said, the dark times. When YouTube was early, so we had people like Fred blowing up.
change, ditching the scary letters and opting for a less stylized and frankly basic uniform logo instead. I mean,
I remember when they did that.
Where's the edge? Where's the artistic expression? Where's the I'm 14 and I'm gonna bleach my own hair until it turns into the consistency of glue while rocking out to MCR vibes?
Oh
and
my
the
God.
font wasn't the only thing that changed. The
That brought back a core memory. Holy shit.
new logo also came along with a redesign of most Hot Topic storefronts too, which were cleaner, brighter, and generally meant to seem more welcoming instead of looking like the front of a haunted gothic castle.
But that's what made it cool, man. I like that look. You walked in and felt like you were walking into like a cave or something. It brought the aura, the ambiance.
Call it a downgrade or just a smart business move, but this, along with hosting Fred meet and greets, was one of the first steps the store took towards its more approachable pop culture-centric image. Although Glee, Harry Potter, and even Fred were very popular at the time circa the late 2000s, there was one pop culture franchise that was not only insanely popular for its time, but was also perfectly matched to Hot Topic's existing demographic: Twilight.
Oh God. Oh my God. Twilight popped off when I was in like middle and high school. So a lot of girls read it. There were a lot of Team Jacob and Team Edward shirts. I remember like it was yesterday. I forgot all about it until I just seen this. So thanks for putting that image back in my mind and reminding me of the darker side of the glory days. We all owe Robert Pattinson. Yeah, because he's a good actor. It's just he had to play Edward. I mean, he did good in that one movie with Willem Dafoe. Was it The Lighthouse? That movie's so good.
The first Twilight movie released in 2008, and it launched a huge wave of vampire werewolf mania that, again, was pretty popular in general as a YA romance story, but garnered an especially dedicated fanbase among the alt community. All the counterculture-loving teenagers who were already convinced that being a vampire or romancing a werewolf were the epitome of angst-driven edginess.
And now look what we have. Romance novels about werewolves and vampires. Thanks, Stephanie Meyer. Thank you. Oh yeah, he was also Batman. I forgot about that. Yeah. I don't think I've seen that one though. I've been kind of checked out of watching movies for a little bit.
Now had a couple teenage heartthrobs to play out their occult fantasies on screen, and Hot Topic was very aware of the kind of power these brooding vampires had over some of their core demographic, leading to not just a huge stock and variety of Twilight merch sold during the entire reign of the saga, but even a cross-country mall press tour with Hot Topic as the leading sponsor. There were signings and interviews with the cast, and even performances from Paramore with songs from the soundtrack, to really round out the emo and 2008-ness of it all.
Can you imagine just going to the mall, like, randomly, and there's just a fucking Paramore concert in the food court? I bet that was insane.
At the time, Hot Topic's main slogan was "Everything About the Music," which was pretty evident through their store presence and especially through their tour and concert involvement. But at its core, even when sponsoring sets and signings, Hot Topic was still just a retail store. So it launched a new business venture in 2008 that aimed to expand its musical reaches, shockhound.com. Hot Topic's official online store launched back in the 90s, but Shockhound was...
Look at that UI. Old internet just had a certain charm to it, man. Like, every website was kind of different in its own little way. It's crazy how it's so different. Like, nowadays everything's like basic ass layouts. Everything kind of looks the same. Where's the charm at? Remember watching the movie as a kid, didn't understand any of it. I never really watched the Twilight movies, but I have seen a lot of clips, and I know a lot of the cringy dialogue that happens, so... yeah.
More than just an online store. It was a social network, news source, merch store, and music download website hybrid. Shockhound sold plenty of officially licensed merchandise just like a typical Hot Topic, but with a much broader range. But Shockhound didn't only sell merch, but also sold digital MP3s and concert tickets too. If you didn't really want to buy anything though, that was fine too, because Shockhound was especially branded as an overall music hub, hosting interviews, music reviews, music videos, concert videos, and even its own original video content called Shock Shows. There's no archive of any of the Shock Shows that I can find on YouTube or through the Wayback Machine, but from what I can gather, they were essentially just more avenues for music news and interviews. Taco Tuesday was a short podcast-style show that releases Stella Can't Cook featured band and scene members in a non-serious amateur cooking show, and Wish You Were Here was a video diary-esque mix of updates and interviews with band members while out on the road or in the studio. The social media aspect wasn't exactly the main focus of the site, but it definitely was the glue that held everything together. User bios were pretty simple, consisting of into, not into, and favorite music. And it also had some what looks like pre-made profile themes to choose from, though nothing quite as customizable as some of the early MySpace eyesores with...
Look at that. It's like, imagine these days, like, if you wanted your Twitter to look like this, you wouldn't be able to do it. But MySpace was so crazy back then, like, you had complete control over how your profile looked if you knew how to do HTML code. It was fucking insane. I think I had, like, a GTA San Andreas background for mine. And probably, like, an Eminem song or something, if I had to guess.
Obnoxious auto-playing music. There were also features to link your favorite artists, add friends, and leave comments on their profiles. Other members could also post their own playlists and music reviews in dedicated community sections. These examples from the Wayback Machine are a little worse for wear, but they're the best I could find, and I'm sure you get the gist. Well, I think it's pretty safe to say there wasn't a non-zero chance
I'll probably hop on after this video.
that the social media component was Hot Topic's answer to the popularity of MySpace. Shockhound still wasn't exactly a MySpace clone or even a direct competitor, and didn't seem to lean much on the social aspect at all. Interaction was mostly limited to profile comments, and posts of your own were limited to pictures of your new merch or music reviews. It was actually a lot more like modern-day Spotify, with public playlists and artist pages that had bios, discographies, and their Shockhound merch. Spotify did exist at the time, but it was still in its early stages and wasn't nearly as...
Hold on, what? I need to see that old Spotify layout again.
Their Shockhound merch. Spotify did exist at the time.
Why does this look exactly like Apple? Like, it looks exactly like iTunes. So you're telling me early Spotify looked exactly like iTunes? What the fuck? I didn't even know about Spotify till like how old was I? Like, it was like mid 2010s when I found out about Spotify. I don't know how long it's been around, but that looks just like iTunes. Like they straight up lifted that shit for their first edition of it, I guess. Trying to think of the name. Late 2010s for me. Yeah, I think I found out about Spotify like 2013, 2014, something like that. When they had the phone app and they already had the green logo and all that.
But it was still in its early stages and wasn't nearly as comprehensive as it is today. By comparison, Shockhound was much more community-based, a one-stop shop for buying music, discovering new music, reading about your favorite bands, and talking about it all with other people. Even amongst user profiles and video streaming, every element in some way related back to the music.
Yeah, that's the one thing about early internet too, is all of the forums in general. Like if you wanted to go to a place to talk about something niche, they had a page for it and forums where you could talk about shit that you want to talk about with other people. And now it's just kind of like all conglomerated together through like Twitter, which, I mean, Discord, I guess, is kind of like forums in a way, but it was more like, all right, so the early forums of the internet are more closely related to like how 4chan is still laid out to this day. Like there would be like a topic post and you would go in and post up under that topic post and it would be like comment after comment, like in a series. So that's basically how early like forums were laid out, if that makes sense.
Just like Hot Topic's slogan promised. And one of the most interesting parts was that Shockhound wasn't limited to just alternative music. There was definitely a clear alternative focus, but other genres including pop, R&B, hip-hop, country, and even jazz were available to download. Shockhound is a pretty smart business model considering it was built on the basis of sales while every other feature still invited you in. Instead of just going to a Hot Topic store, online or in person, you could go to Shockhound, where the wishlist function displayed on your profile encouraged window shopping, and buying merch could land you a fee.
I see a Tech 9 album right there. Was that Psychology 101? Yeah, I think it's that album. I see it.
In a gallery or product page if you uploaded a picture of yourself wearing what you bought. You could always see what your friends bought, what artists they're listening to, their playlists.
Yep, visited Tech 9 right there. I knew it.
And reviews, and what articles they read and videos they watched, in case you needed recommendations, or a little bit of FOMO. The site offered connection to the fan base and community aspect of the industry, something that physical merch stores like Hot Topic or other music download sites like iTunes couldn't quite match. Shockhound sponsored a decent amount of signings, sets, and shows itself, both in Hot Topic stores and in actual larger scale venues. There were even free concerts by Snow Patrol, No Age, and Titus Andronicus in a few select locations as a promotion for the site. But even with so much involvement, it seemed to be a little too much going on with not enough sales to back it up. Shockhound shut down in 2011, just a little under 3 years into its existence, which essentially marked the shift into the store's third era. After the discontinuation of Shockhound, Hot Topic's regular retail success continued into the 2010s. The release of Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland in 2010 saw a pretty large-scale store tie-in, with full promotional decor in select stores and a sponsored event with appearances from the cast. The first Hot Topic store in Canada also opened in 2010, complete with a Disturbed meet and greet, which is an American band, but it's the thought. In 2011, the Gettin'
Yeah, the basic ass logo, man. Why are companies still do that to this day? Like they'll downgrade their logo to something basic as hell. Meanwhile, here I am talking and I don't even have a logo, but regardless of the fact, when I get a logo, it's not gonna be basic. It's gonna be cool looking.
Our Pants campaign launched, which featured some of the most well-known and fan-favorite bands in pants. Hot Topic pants, specifically, and almost exclusively black skinny jeans to be even more specific. The campaign eventually evolved into a pretty large-scale annual promotion, with each year's featured bands being unveiled in a lineup drop on a dedicated Get in Our Pants website that also had photos, interviews, and videos. Aside from being featured in promotional pictures both in-store and online, there wasn't much that actually came from being a featured pants band, but being so closely associated with Hot Topic was still seemingly a pretty good deal. This was just yet another move that kept Hot Topic relevant in the music scene, and still keeping everything, even denim sales, all about the music. Within the first half of the decade, there were Hot Topic references in Family Guy, Tosh.0, Workaholics, Jeopardy, and even Nicki Minaj mentioned the store in a song. It was really just a way to market her merch that was being sold there, but a name drop is a name drop. This wasn't the first time that Hot
Hey, a little Peep shirt in the background. And Juice WRLD. Kind of expected these days, honestly, though.
Topic had ever been associated with an artist that was outside of the alternative genre, but Nicki's merch being sold was an example of how it was becoming more common as the brand continued to grow. In addition to mainstream music, pop culture was also becoming a bigger core aspect, both in and out of store. In 2013, Hot Topic was a sponsor of LA Comic-Con and sponsored the Her Universe fashion show at the 2014 San Diego Comic-Con. Modern Funko Pop figures, which were launched in 2010, were selling well enough for Hot Topic Guy to become its own figure in 2014.
Why? Yeah, Funko Pops kind of fell off, honestly. Not even gonna lie.
For the store's 25th anniversary, which says a lot about how well these were selling at Hot Topic and the growing state of the store's popularity overall. Where in the first era, Hot Topic catered to more of the unorthodox and niche subcultures, and in its second era, everything was especially all about the music, the third era is when its focus arguably shifted towards geek culture. Funko Pops are one thing, and you could even make the argument that some of the figures are modeled after musicians. But alongside Funko Pops, even more pop culture merch filled Hot Topic shelves in the 20s.
Yeah, like, last time I did go to Hot Topic, it's been a little while, but I do remember there being like a lot of anime shirts. And yeah, like I'm seeing like Kirby, Bugs Bunny, the Joker, Beetlejuice, Rick and Morty, of course. I wouldn't doubt if you go now, there's some Smiling Friends shirts. Like, I would not doubt it at all.
Too. In addition to the more alternatively accepted franchises, for lack of a better term, like Nightmare Before Christmas, Invader Zim, Sanrio, and generally anything that could be deemed quirky even if it was popular, mainstream media like Friends, The Office, Harry Potter, and tons of Disney franchise were also being sold at Hot Topic.
I also wouldn't doubt if you walk in there and they have like mainstream VTuber apparel, like, well, not anymore, but I was gonna say Gargura, but obviously not. But but you know what I mean, like the most famous mainstream ones. I wouldn't doubt if they had merch of them in there. As that's just what Hot Topic turned into. Like, it went from being like emo music stuff and scene culture to basically anything fandom related. Pretty much.
Including through their own geeky novelty store Box Launch, which launched in 2015. Not to mention the dedicated sections for video games and anime that also started to crop up in the mid-2010s.
I remember
All
that.
of these changes came amidst a change in ownership when Hot Topic was sold in 2013, though some of the earliest changes can be traced all the way back to the major store redesign in 2007. At a consumer conference in 2007, Hot Topic's CFO at the time said that the main reason for the rebrand was that people were telling us that the stores were too dark, gothic, and intimidating to the average customer.
It gave it personality though, man. You don't want to look like every other store in the mall. Like, that's why I haven't been to Spencer's in a while either, but that's why, like, I think Spencer's still has like the dark atmosphere because it's just part of what it is. You ain't gotta brighten shit up because the people who go to Hot Topic aren't your average fucking shoppers. Man, why do we gotta strip the personality out of everything? I hate it. I hate it. Had to put it down on some old Yeller time. I mean, I haven't been in a while, and I used to go a lot, so yeah.
They put flat screen TVs at the entrance, changed the store walls from black to a lighter color, and overall opted for a lighter and brighter storefront that would no longer scare people away. The CFO also made the claim that we still describe our store as edgy, but they're not as foreboding as they once were. And sure, I guess I can see where he's coming from. There's still plenty of band tees and alternative merch. It's just that the word edgy is now more like the middle school skater boy definition of the word, instead of the meaning associated with counterculture. Since its sale in 2013, Hot Topic has only leaned more and more into this brighter and inviting direction, to the point that now it's become a bit of a meme to say, I miss the old Hot Topic. They even sell shirts that say the same thing right on the front, complete with the old logo and all. Just
I miss the old Hot Topic. One day was bold Hot Topic. I hate the new Hot Topic. If you get it, you get it.
To be super meta with it. But such a statement requires an equally meta question. What even is the old Hot Topic? The beloved tunnel archway and gothic gates?
Yes.
The cooler logo? The absence of Nicki Minaj and otaku merch? I think what some people are overlooking is that Hot Topic was never exclusively an alternative store, and it never completely catered to only what the alt community wanted, but instead changed with the tides. It's still fair to call it an alternative store at heart, but the biggest clue about what its motives are is right in its name, Hot Topic. Whatever topic is hot. When it first opened, it was selling pretty mundane or otherwise mainstream accessories without an alternative focus. And when it first leaned more into counterculture, it was an answer to the movement that was progressing in the 90s. And in the 2000s, as much as emo and pop punk were popular within the scene itself, they were also pretty popular outside of it too. I mean, My Chemical Romance and Fall Out Boy were featured in the same teeny bopper magazines as Zac Efron and Miley Cyrus at the time, which is a pretty clear example that alternative music was relatively popular beyond the alternative community. In 2024, alternative music rarely gets played on mainstream radio or appears in regular teen magazines anymore, and geek culture, anime, and East Asian pop culture in general is
Yeah, it is true. Like, mainstream music is kind of trash now, if you think about it. Like, there's no, like, I don't even think there's any rock bands on the charts. Fucking rap music this year has been very stale, at least on the mainstream. So it's like, yeah, it's mostly like, I don't even know what is on the charts anymore. I don't listen to the radio. So I don't know. It just seems like a lot of shit fell off of the mainstream. So it would make sense. Some good indie artists, though. Yeah, there are always going to be good indie artists. You just got to find them. Sometimes they're hard to find.
What's popular, so Hot Topic has continued to change to reflect that. Back in the day, some people had complaints that Hot Topic made alt culture too commercialized, selling a more watered-down, commodified idea of counterculture that goes against the ideas of individuality. But now that the store is less focused on counterculture, a lot of people are upset that it doesn't sell what it used to. So which one is it? What's the ideal version of Hot Topic? Should it not sell pop culture or mainstream merch at all? Should it only sell what's considered to be the most alternative of pop culture merch, which is kind of an oxymoron, is entirely subjective and also goes against the idea of individuality.
True.
What the old Hot Topic always felt like to me, looking past the gates and gargoyles, was that it did feel like it was all about the music. When I was entering my canon event emo phase around
Yeah, they used to have headphones set up so you could check out like new albums that dropped, or at least like snippets from them. I remember listening to some new albums back then, like you going in and just seeing how they sounded. I mean, there was also like LimeWire back then, so you could do that, but yeah, that was risky.
2011, Hot Topic seemed like the coolest place ever because it had all my favorite bands in it. Even amidst the pop culture merch, it still looked and felt like an alternative music haven, with concerts and signings and a music community website. As much as it has technically always veered more towards what's trending, it's still true that along the way, Hot Topic built itself a reputation with a core alternative audience. But in its current state, it's turning its back on the alt community that built it up.
Bold and brash. I see it right there. I would unironically buy that. Yeah, there's still vinyl shops, Daniel. Like they're just not as common. There is one like within maybe like 15 miles of my house, I think, or my apartment technically, but but yeah, you just got to look around for them. Especially if you go into the city, you'll probably see more vinyl shops.
To begin with, the dark, gothic, and intimidating vibe of the old stores that the CFO described was kind of the whole point. I'll be honest, as someone who used to idolize Hot Topic as this glorious hub of alternative culture, I went into this video with the expectation that I'd reach this third era saying, "See? Funko Pop and Mickey Mouse. Ugh. Bad Hot Topic. Bad. Do more skinny jean ads with my favorite bands like you used to." But even before reading through its history, I still liked Hot Topic, even if it doesn't exist in Australia, and I can appreciate that a good amount of the pop culture merch is still arguably alt-coded by genre, even if it is incredibly popular. I don't think that there needs to be any less or any more of one type of product or another, as long as the business is still running. Just like how skinny jeans are generally falling out of fashion, Hot Topic has changed, and whether that's for better or for worse depends on your generation and personal experience. Expecting any brand to stay exactly how they were 20 plus years ago is a lot to ask, and would likely have made Hot Topic go out of business, which would change all of the people saying, "I miss the old Hot Topic," into people that now say, "I wish Hot Topic still existed." I think it's more than fine to wish it was still how it used to be. I mean, I kinda do. But I also don't think it's inherently good or bad that it's different now. Alternative culture still continues to carry on and thrive, even as it's more detached from Hot Topic's larger influence, and I don't think that one version of Hot Topic is necessarily better or worse than the other. I'm sure that there are still plenty of kids that visit their local mall and end up leaving.
They changed the logo again? That looks like a fourth logo. I mean, it looks similar to the last one, but it looks even more basic now. It's just fucking white letters. What the hell? Never knew the OG Hot Topic. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know the OG, but I remember like the 2000s version from 2000 to 2010. It was fucking awesome, man. It's like you walked in and it had a spooky, scary vibe. It was awesome. Yeah. I never really wore ripped jeans, Daniel. I never wore skinnies either. I'm like, maybe because I grew up in more like rap culture, so like I always wore baggy clothes. I mean, I still do wear baggy jeans like to this day. I don't know. I just never really liked how skinny jeans felt. I tried them before, but I was like, give me the baggy ones back.
With a band shirt that they bought from Hot Topic as a newly recruited emo, which I would still count as an overall win for the alternative community. Hi, welcome to Jelly TV, where I shout out a video that I think deserves some love. I recommend watching The Lost World of Doll Musicals by Stellaria. As someone who didn't really watch the Barbie movies growing up, I was so surprised to find out that amidst the dozens of straight-to-video movies that exist, there are also musicals centered around them too.
What the hell?
Idea of a stage show based on something as simple as a doll line is something I wouldn't have been able to even conceptualize before, but Stellaria covers shows from Barbie to Bratz to Monster High to fill you in on all the details. I just think this over-commercialized fever dream of dolls turned movies turned live musicals is so interesting, and it's worth a watch if you're into dolls, girly nostalgia, or are just surprised that these even exist. A huge thank you to Daniel E. Q, Kevin Evans, Bunzo, Karis Desarun, Eliza, Findicano and Irise, Grayson, Hayden Campbell, Johan Ake, Lojwa Animal, Luna Stephenson, Mark Kent, Nighttime Coral, Paper Sam,
I think she's
Pharma
just
Max,
shouting out
Shapefuls,
Patreons. Shout out to all of her Patreons,
Theodore
but I'm
Nicola
not going to sit through that. I'm sorry. But I will post a link in chat if you guys wants to go check it out. There you go. And no, Daniel, I have not seen any musicals. I mean, I've seen like film musicals, but not anything live before. Nothing live. Although, I mean, I'm not against it. But yeah, that was a deep dive into Hot Topic by Dream Jelly. Go give her channel a peep. Yeah, she makes good nostalgia videos. But yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, please give a like and a sub, or don't, and get dragged into the underworld like I always say. Bye bye.